Welcome to the Be Smart podcast, how not to be an idiot with your money. Jared, fresh off DirtCon, how was it?
It was really good. I don't know how it happens, but it just gets better like year after year. Had some really good speakers this year. We had a stand-up comic this year.
Oh, that's fun.
But he wasn't just stand-up comedy. It's a guy. His name is Paul, and he basically took Facebook public, got a lot of stock, cashed out, became rich, and then pursued his dream of doing stand-up comedy. So he talked a lot about like when you retire, like when you hit the lottery, when you cash out with a lot of money, like the feelings associated with it and stuff like that. It was pretty interesting. But Grant Williams killed it. Tony Greer killed it. Mike Hardy, Frank Capillari, Tom Morgan did some really interesting stuff. Gosh, it was terrific.
And there are going to be some changes to it, I understand, next year. You want to talk a little about that?
Yeah, so I've been doing the conference in Pawleys Island for the last 6 conferences, going back to 2017, and we have outgrown the space. Like we've outgrown it. This last conference sold out in 39 seconds. Like there is so much demand. I had 80 people on the waiting list, right? So It's just kind of become obvious that we just need a bigger space. We need to step up our game. So we're going to be doing the conference next year in Nashville in the fall of 26. And we're working on picking out hotels. I had some conversations with Ed today. This isn't going to be like, 700 people. It's going to be like 250 people. We're going to increase it by like 150%. About 250 people, going to be bringing in the same caliber of speakers. It's going to be a much fancier hotel. The place here in South Carolina was not that great. So we're just going to, it is going to be more expensive. Like my conference was one of the cheapest around. Like it was incredibly cheap. It is going to cost more.
But it's in Nashville, so you got that going for you.
Oh, yeah. And also, when we do the conference, we're going to have a party like you've never seen before. So we're going to rent out Night We Met. I'm going to DJ at a club, and everybody's going to come, and it's going to be bananas.
Nice. Looking forward to that. And then you got your writing retreat coming up. You excited for that?
I'm a little nervous about it. I've been working really hard, especially with the conference and stuff, and finishing up teaching school. Like I've been really burning the candle at both ends, and I got to go right to Mississippi and just start cranking on books, like with no break. And if I don't get a lot done, this is just a huge waste of time, Now I'm a hardworking guy. Like I'll work on the books, but I really need to make some progress.
All right, enough messing around. You want to go to the market headlines?
Yeah.
From Bloomberg, Warren Buffett will step down as CEO of Berkshire Hathaway at year end, with Greg Abel set to take over as CEO upon board approval. Listen to this figure. 5,502,284%. That is the overall gain from 1964 to 2024 in per share market value of Berkshire Hathaway. The same figure for the S&P 500 stock index with dividends included is 39,054%. Naturally, on the news, Berkshire shares are down a little bit today. I believe it's around 4%-ish or so last I looked. What are your thoughts on the old Oracle stepping down? Kind of the end of an era here.
Yeah, it is. I don't want to say that nobody is irreplaceable. It's kind of hard to replace Warren Buffett. I'm sure Warren Buffett has passed along as much of his knowledge as he possibly can. I'm actually surprised the stock was not down more. I was expecting it to be down like 10%. 4% isn't bad.
I was thinking 5.
Yeah, I don't know anything about Greg Abel. Like I don't know anything about him.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if you did. I don't either. It's that's a big set of shoes to fill, though. You don't really want to be the guy following the guy.
Like for a while, like 10 years ago, they were talking about some woman named Tracy Britt Cool who was going to take his job. And she moved on. I don't know where she went. But Yeah, I mean, the other thing is that the right move for Berkshire might actually be to break it up, right? Because it's a conglomerate. Conglomerates generally trade at a discount. If you sell off the pieces, Berkshire is worth about 1.1 trillion. Like if you broke it up and sold off the pieces, it's probably worth at least 1.5 trillion. Like, so maybe that's what he's there to do. Like, I don't know.
Our next headline from the New York Times in reference to Doge: was it all a meme? So let's go through the timeline here. Just before the election last fall, Elon Musk predicted that he could cut $2 trillion from the federal budget. By early January, he was calling $2 trillion the best case outcome and saying we've got a good shot at getting $1 trillion in cuts. In late March, he said Doge would deliver $1 trillion in deficit reduction by the end of May. And by April 10, that was down to savings of $150 billion. Your thoughts on Doge and its effectiveness, or maybe to better phrase it, its lack thereof?
I don't know what's so fucking hard about this. Like, how hard is it to cover? I mean, you just fire people. Like, most of it is like labor costs. Like, you just get rid of people. You close entire divisions. You close, like, what? I don't understand why they ran into a brick wall here. I don't know what's so hard about it. I did hear there was a speaker at my conference who talked about how the focus of Doge is shifting from cost cutting to deregulation. So maybe that's what's going on. But nobody knows. There was a Bloomberg article by Justin Fox. He was kind of speculating about it, but nobody knows. But it is a major disappointment because here's the problem. Trump and Musk are nuts, right? And if the two craziest guys cannot do this, then nobody can do it. It cannot be done. It'll never get done, right? And that's the part that's depressing.
That's scary. Yep. Is Elon out now, or is he phasing out of Doge? Like, what's the deal with him right now?
He's phasing out. Yeah.
Okay. All right. We got one more market headline. This one's kind of weird. Trump's latest tariff twists preventing Hollywood's, quote, very fast death. So the Donald announced plans to impose a 100% tariff on films produced overseas. He also positioned foreign productions as a national security threat, saying other nations were using films for messaging and propaganda. What? I mean, what are we doing here now? We're throwing tariffs on movies.
I mean, we're only 4 months into his term and he's already losing his mind. Like, he's turning into Caligula, like.
Yes. Yes.
So tariffs on movies like this.
It's so dumb.
And
like,
calling it a national security threat. Like, if movies are a national security threat, then literally everything is a national security threat.
Right.
And that's actually dangerous language, because if you say something is a national security threat, then it justifies pretty much any behavior in like fighting it. You know what I mean? Yep. So I was bearish on Trump last week when we were talking about the taxes. I went off about that. Like, this is ridiculous. Here's the one though. Here's the one that really, really got under my skin. When Trump was talking about the dolls, right? About how little girls, they don't need 30 dolls. They can make do with 2 dolls, right? You may joke about that. That is an insight into his psychology, right? In that it is an expression of anti-materialism, anti-capitalism, and degrowth policies. The whole idea of capitalism is that we have abundance, right? We can have as many dolls as you want. If you want $500, you can have $500, right? Like, me personally, see this jacket I'm wearing? Like, this is a nice jacket. I have 30 jackets like this. I have 250 t-shirts. I have 50 pairs of shoes. Do I need all this stuff? Absolutely not. But I have a philosophy of materialism. Material things make me happy. I like to have things. Now, that's not to say that material things are the only thing that makes me happy. There's other things that make me more happy, but I like collecting stuff, right? And to say that, this hypothetical girl, she only needs 2 dolls instead of 30 dolls. Is this like back in the 70s when Jimmy Carter got on TV in a sweater and told everybody to turn down their heat, right? Like Americans are not going to sacrifice. Americans do not sacrifice at all. They do not make sacrifices. Maybe they did in World War II. They do not today, and they won't.
250 t-shirts. That's impressive. That's a good collection of tees.
The funny thing is, I actually wear all of them. Like it's not like I have like 30 t-shirts that I'm too fat and I never wear alone. I wear all my clothes. Like I wear them all.
Yeah.
So
tariffs on movies. Speaking of movies, we talked about some finance movies last week. I have rattled off another 2 this past weekend. I watched Glengarry Glen Ross. Excellent. The Alec Baldwin scene, put that coffee down, is just all time. That was so funny.
Coffee is for closers.
Coffee is for closers. And I watched Margin Call, which I thought was really excellent. I had read a lot of good things about it, and I finally watched it.
I have to see it. Yep.
Yep. Double Kevin Spacey feature there, which is kind of weird. I guess he's actually. I've watched a lot of Kevin Spacey movies lately. It's kind of a shame that
is he going to get uncanceled? Is he going to get uncanceled at some point?
I don't think so. But it's a shame that he got in some trouble there, because he really is an incredible actor.
Yeah,
he's in a lot of really good movies.
You know what he was in that I actually liked was Baby Driver. Did you see Baby Driver?
Yes.
And like Kevin Spacey was not the best part of that movie. You know who was the best part of that movie? Was Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx was unbelievable in Baby Driver. He was one of the most evil characters you have ever seen. Like, it was really good. And what's the name of the kid?
Ansel Elgort.
Yes. He's like 6'5".
I did not know that. No.
Yeah, he's super tall. Yeah.
Yeah, my boy John Hamm's in that as well. Big Mad Men fan. So
he was not that good in Baby Driver. Yeah,
he has a lot of movie roles that are kind of underwhelming. He's really good in The Town, though. Have you seen that? With
a long
Ben
time
Affleck?
ago, I did. A long time ago.
That's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
For our main topic, long Latin America. So Scott Besson earlier today just touted the U.S. as the premier destination for capital, which I'm guessing you disagree with at this point.
Certainly not. Not right now. Like the U.S. I mean, the U.S. is the premier. The U.S. was the premier destination for capital before the election. It's not anymore. Right. It's literally the opposite is true. It's going to Europe. It's going to Latin America. It's going to Asia. It's going everywhere. But here, the dollar is crashing. Like, that's an absurd statement.
So you recently retweeted this from Tavi Costa. A major breakout is in the making for Brazilian stocks. Markets are just starting to wake up to the idea that Latin America could be among the biggest beneficiaries of ongoing global trade realignments. It's worth emphasizing, by nearly every fundamental metric, Brazilian equities are currently trading near historical lows in valuation. Can you break down what you're seeing here and why you're so bullish on Latin America?
It's really the Milei effect. Milei was elected almost 2 years ago. Argentina has doubled. They're growing GDP at 5.5%. They've cut bureaucracy. They've cut multiple cabinet departments. They've cut regulations. Really, all the stuff we should be doing here. And they're growing like crazy. And the stock market reflects that. You have a similar situation in Colombia, where the president is actually an honest to goodness drug addict, and he does drugs and gets drunk and goes on Twitter and picks fights with people, and he's a communist. So he's going to be gone soon. Chile has an election coming up. They're getting rid of a communist. They're moving right. In Brazil, that election isn't for about another 15 months, but Lula is definitely going to be gone. When you look at Brazil, you're talking about stocks that are down 75% from 15 years ago. They're trading. Petrobras has like a 20% dividend yield, and it's a real dividend. Like, this is not a distressed company. There are lots of companies with double-digit dividend yields in Brazil. Colombia, Chile a little bit less, but Brazil, like these are cheap stocks. They trade at incredibly low valuations. All it needs is a catalyst.
How would you look to play that? Are you looking at ETFs, individual names?
Got to subscribe to the newsletter.
Daily Dirt Nap. You got to subscribe
to the Daily Dirt Nap. Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Perfect. Let's go over the week ahead. We've got a Fed meeting this week on Tuesday and Wednesday. The week is also set to bring fresh data on consumer credit, productivity, and U.S. trade balance. Any Fed predictions?
By the way, did you see that Trump called Powell a stiff?
I did not. No. When did that happen?
Which I thought.
I can't keep up with the news. That's too much.
I really thought it was great. I mean, because Powell, he is the definition of a stiff. Like I thought that was terrific. Yeah, there's nothing's going to happen with this Fed meeting. 97% chance we're going to keep rates on, basically 100% chance. It'll be interesting to see if they have a bias to cut. But I don't think anything's going to go on with that. So.
Well, that does it for this week's podcast. Everyone, please like and subscribe. Drop us a comment. Drop us a question. We'll address it in future episodes.
By the way, in addition to liking and subscribing it, if you're listening to the podcast or you're watching on YouTube and you find it insightful or entertaining, grab the link and forward it to somebody else. Show somebody else. Spread the word. Spread the word on this podcast. This podcast, we've been doing it for a long time. I've been doing it for many years. And it is a podcast that is rich with information and entertainment and should be a lot bigger than it is. So help us spread the word.
Absolutely. All right, Jared, you want to bounce out of here?
Yep.
Let's dip. Thanks for your time. I'll talk to you here soon.
See ya.